be feeling that. It's got a great groove going on.
Welcome to this special edition of the B.Andrews Radio Show, coming to you from Hancock, Wisconsin. It's a special edition because it is the pre-election edition. So let's everybody give a bright round of applause.
Right?
A bright round of applause. That was for our producer so that they know what to do right there. All right. And we welcome you to our edition of the show this week. I am one of your co-hosts coming to you from Hancock. I am Eric. Over in the other corner, in the other side of the room, is one of the other co-hosts. That is Emily. Say hi, Emily.
Hello.
And our once-of-a-lifetime kind of producer behind the keyboard is Kay. Say hi, Kay.
I had a point to something, but I totally forgot about it.
Of course, because I'm that kind of a co-host. I can just do so well, I can make you forget.
Oh, dear Lord. Help us all.
Yes, I'm just that good. Yes, this is our pre-election edition for one of our election observers. I was going to call
Technically, I'm an inspector.
you election inspector. Okay.
Yeah, where's John when you need him?
John?
I'm not like a regular inspector or even like a CI. I'm an EI.
You're EI?
O.
EI?
Oh.
Oh, there you go. Way to play along. And of course, John. Where's John? John wasn't John was just a poll worker.
As he said it in
good.
his words every single time, I'm an election inspector.
He was a poll worker. We all knew it.
Well, technically, I took over John's job, so.
But you're an election inspector.
That's just because you don't want to say that your daughter's
Is a poll worker. That's exactly right.
Oh, it's just me and 3 other ladies. One's like 60. No, actually, 2 of them are in their 60s, almost 70s, and the third one's in her like almost 50s. So
things that make you go. Anyway, so yeah, elections are going to be going on.
And the next thing you know, the industrial strength pantyhose literally filled the air.
Okay, we'll leave that right alone. What is happening is in our little town here in the state of Wisconsin, we are having our primaries, and so that's the election that's going to be going on tomorrow.
And when you think about it, John himself was the one guy with all the older ladies.
That is true. That is true. And they loved him because John brought
biscotti.
Oh, I was getting ready to say scones, but that's right. He brought biscotti.
He made homemade biscotti and scones, and he'd bring them in.
And he would bring them in. And the ladies loved him for it.
Well, the ladies love me, too. I brought in homemade snickerdoodles.
Ooh.
And none for father?
Nope.
Okay.
Me and Amberly ate all the rest of the leftovers.
You mean there was more than that dozen?
Yeah, there were like 8 others.
And you ate them all?
Well, Amberly only had like 3.
Oh, you didn't save me one?
No.
No pumpkin pie for you.
I already
She
had
already
2
had it.
pieces.
What? You are cleaning house. I'm telling
Actually,
you.
Amberly cleaned house. She washed all my dishes again.
Oh, okay. Well, it's good to have the cousins in. That's for sure, to help out with all these things. My goodness. So you've had snickerdoodles, pumpkin pie. It's like Thanksgiving goodies for you.
Yes. It feels like Thanksgiving. I don't know why.
Could be the chill in the air.
There is no chill in this
For
air.
real.
I don't know about you, but I'm very chill right now.
We are sitting in the studio. I am melting down. We got to get air conditioning in here or something. This room
Emily
is
would
just
appreciate it.
stinking
Yes, I
hot.
would.
And so anyway, yeah. So that's what's going on here in our busy town of Hancock this week. We kind of let you in on the
busy
on
little
the
bees.
big thing that was happening. Okay, what are you yucking about over there?
Yuck, yuck.
busy.
Yes. Well, the town is busy. I mean, people are becoming
We have
in
busy
voting.
bodies, but our town is not busy.
Did they tell you about how many people they thought would be in to vote?
I think there's hardly ever any.
Well, it's midterm, and on a midterm and doing the what do they call it? I said it right out of the chute. It's the
Preliminaries.
Preliminaries. Yeah, sometimes they may get up to 30 people that will come in.
Maybe.
Okay, so
I think the one that I did, like before the presidential election, like it was for like the new board members and stuff. I think we had up to 70, and like the women were just shocked. They were all just like, so many people came through the door.
Yeah. I let me tell the radio audience right now, I can't stand it. I have all of a sudden, I am starting to come through my shirt. So this noise that you are about to hear in the background is the fan. We have tried to keep it off for the past several episodes.
We have a fan in room right now.
And it needs WD-40.
It does. So here it goes.
Shh, don't tell him it's a mechanical fan.
Here
I was going to be like,
all right.
I was going to be like, we're giving a fan
so
a
that
tour
noise,
of the facilities.
that noise in the background. If the air moves, it's not too bad, but I'm just, I can't.
Oh, you're being speckled.
See, I told you. It's just, man, I just started coming through. So anyway, that noise that you hear, it's quiet. What happened?
Oh,
cool.
It likes you.
It's purring.
It's pretty. Yeah. Thank you, fan. Thank you, fan, for not making all that horrific noise that you normally make.
Oh, it is
Give it
so
a second;
bad.
it'll start complaining.
Yeah, it
Yes.
probably will. So anyway, since you are up there in the
Polls.
at the polls, voting, inspecting what people are doing, giving them the hairy eyeball for who'd you vote for, and all that kind of stuff.
The hairy eyeball.
Which, by the way, we elect our county sheriff this particular time, which has an effect on me because I am chaplain to the sheriff's department. So this is the next guy who I'm going to have to work with. But anyway, while you're up there, you will have plenty of time to work at playing some games because you will have nothing else to do. So
Actually, I'll be knitting socks.
Okay, that's your game.
Professional knitter, go. Done. Pair of socks. Here you go. Done. A shawl. Here we go. Woohoo! Sweaters for everybody.
Do you know how hard it is to knit shawls?
No, I have no idea. So
the good thing is
crochet
that
one.
well, that still takes a really long time.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so we wanted to talk about games, the different types of games that we like to play. In our second segment of the show, we'll get a little bit more specific about games. But I myself, I love different types of games. I love more athletic games. I'm not really good at games that require my brain or problem solving.
Shut up! This is the man who somehow rocks not only the 3-letter words, but things like crepuscular. When playing, like...
Crepuscular.
Yeah, when playing... I almost said bongo.
When
playing
the bongos.
Boggle.
Boggle.
What was I
I was going with bongo after you said the other word. So that's your mom. No, I do not rock the 3-letter words. I have a cousin.
No, but then you got
Bob
categories.
Bob Hambrock.
And Monopoly, never play Monopoly.
Rocks
with
the
Eric
3-letter
Hambrock.
words. You do not want to play...
Any word games with him.
What is that? What is the
Scrabble.
Scrabble. Oh, Bob
We
Hambrock.
don't play Scrabble. We play upwards.
Bob Hambrock. I
But
mean,
still.
Any word
Wow.
game.
and he has got the coolest Scrabble set. His
Okay.
sets on a pedestal that swivels, and the squares have little plastic settings in them so that when you put them on the board, they stay there. I mean, he has got like this $65 board set to play Scrabble with.
Okay,
That
you
nobody
know how
plays with
much?
him.
Do you know how much you don't want to play Scrabble with him?
Yeah.
That's how much nobody else wants to play Monopoly with you.
Why?
Because you dominate the board and say, "Well, because you're my children, you know what? Tell you what, I'll lessen the tax for you, Dad. I don't want to give 75%. Oh, but you do. It's so much less, and then we hand over half of our money. That doesn't seem like so much less."
Hey, at least it was only half.
Dad is the kind who buys up all the corner market and then buys all of our own properties off of us and goes, "Everybody can live in my Trump Tower. It's okay."
Whoa. You mean it's Dad Tower?
It's the name
Dad
of
Tower.
the game. That's why it's called Monopoly. So, I mean, you either
Well, you
go
got the
in.
Yeah, but
name
you're
down.
ruthless.
You either go in to be.
He's a businessman. Hey, don't worry. You're my children.
Don't worry about the
I'll
fun.
take care of you after I own it all. You know,
Exactly.
I just made you guys
work for me.
offers that you can't
Cannot
refuse.
Exactly.
It's because you're
If you
like,
wanna stay in the
you're
game.
like, make your decision, stay in the game, or get out and go do something else. That was our ultimatum.
Hey, you know
Family
what?
time.
You know what? our Monopoly games didn't last 7 and 8 hours. They only lasted 2 and 3, and we got out of the game faster.
It's true.
We've never finished a Monopoly game because one of us has always walked away from the table crying. Usually Ben.
No. I was literally falling asleep.
Yeah, half of us were falling asleep. The other half of us were like frustrated, and so we didn't care. And
then they started
I
laughing at
remember
everything.
getting so mad at you that I handed you the rest of my money and my properties and just walked away. And
so,
Chris was screaming at me, "Don't do that! You're just helping him
That's
win."
right, because he was the next in line. I was going after.
needed
You were
to.
protecting him, so. So we as you can see in our family, board games is one of the things. But we lateral from board games to card games.
Here's an interesting card game that is supposed to be like, oh, it only wins by chance if you get the cards dealt to you. No, the person I'm about to talk to always wins. Apples to apples, no matter when she plays.
Yes, Grandma always
not me.
wins.
Well, that's because nobody wants to go against Grandma.
No, for some reason, we all agree with Grandma. She
No
can lay down
matter
a card,
what.
and we can be like, oh, yeah, I like this card. And Grandma's like, yeah, that was
mine.
my card.
I know.
Exactly.
I know.
For no reason. We
But
always
then-
choose hers.
So a difficult conceptual game is euchre. I mean, they don't even spell it like it sounds.
Woohoo!
Nobody
Okay.
likes being my partner.
And
No.
and
Well, I deal with it.
and
I
the
can always
funniest
do it.
thing is when I taught your mother the rules, okay? And so she, for 8 years now, has had the greatest beginner's luck streak in euchre.
Every time she lays down a card, she goes, ha ha, and then lays it down.
Yeah, well,
She
that's
does.
when she realizes it. It's amazing how many times she lays down
was, like,
cards
chortles
and
to
goes,
herself.
"Did I do right?" And everybody just shakes their head and goes, "You were holding that one." You know.
Reneg!
Yeah, renege.
So
Okay, for those of you who don't know what a renege is, or to be a
Means you
reneger, means you broke
the rules.
and
You
you were
didn't.
withholding cards.
You were withholding cards you should have played.
It means you're the one who broke the rules, and now we have to shuffle the deck
And
That's
start
literally
all
what-
over.
Yeah.
I hold some serious angst against my partner, which
No.
is against this game, and I normally choose to play with my older brother John. I can't do it anymore, but when I did, I always made sure to sit across from him. I hold so much angst just because I had in my hand a whole deck of red diamonds in the highest cards that could have won.
Not black diamonds, but
Oh my gosh.
Ha 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 ha.
Okay, the whole entire hand. You want to know what my partner John went with?
Well, obviously, I bet he called spades because he had two.
Exactly.
just two.
He did.
Probably just two. But the
This
thing
is
of it
why I side eye my partner the whole time.
but you probably got to understand John probably got to call before they got to her.
Yes, no
Right.
no table talk. But I literally
I don't have to table talk to stare someone down and look in their eyes and try to communicate telepathically with them and go,
no.
no.
You don't want to call this.
So at that exact point in my life, which I have never
Oh,
before.
at that exact point.
Yes.
That exact point. No
Yes.
other point in your life. Just
Has been
that
more
one.
angsty with that one.
Angsty.
was
Is that
the
a word?
first. Yes.
Got to remember that for
I
Scrabble.
wasn't whining. I
I
was
was
angsting.
angsting.
I see.
Okay.
I got to remember that one for Scrabble. Okay.
I folded my hands because you have the choice against your partner. Is if I have no cards whatsoever. to
You
help
have no
them.
hands. She has no hands.
Nubs. The nubs rule.
Look, Dad, no hands.
Continue.
Is this the point where you yelled at him and said, play by yourself and threw all your cards down?
No, I looked at
Well,
him.
that was another time she was angsty.
yes, that was another time. But
You have the choice between
I laid
capable
down my
worker
hand.
or angsty teen.
and I looked at him and I go, "You're playing by yourself." And he's like, "You have nothing to help me." I say no. Mom, who
say nay.
when she doesn't play the game, she goes around looking at everybody's hands because she's like, "Ooh, what do you have?" Which is true. Wait,
Stop
did you
dabbing in the corner. Stop
not even-
dabbing in the corner. That's the 5th time. Stop
No,
dabbing.
he's not dabbing. He's dadding.
dabbing.
Because he can't dab. That
He
wasn't
can't
a dab.
He isn't appropriately
That's
dabbing.
not dabbing whatsoever. But I'm not gonna.
Arm in the elbow, Dad. Arm in the elbow.
I'll lose my glasses if I do that.
Therefore, it is dadding.
It is dadding.
Exactly.
It's my hairy elbow. I can't do that. I lose my
Your glasses will stick to your elbow like Velcro.
It will.
Oh, so where'd they go? Oh, there they
There
are.
they are. Oh, look, somebody's looking at me on my elbow. Anyway, would you finish your story?
Every time you have to
letting me.
see something, like you go to put on your glasses, you just have to do like the Batman cape elbow thing to try to look.
Yeah.
It's like the
Nobody-
opera glasses kind of thing.
Nobody's letting me finish.
I'm sorry. We died a tribe.
So Mom comes around and she looks at my hand, and then John's like, "Are you sure you have no cards to help me?" And Mom looks down. I look at Mom. She looks at me. She looks at John and
Tells
goes,
you how short she is. Mom looks down. And your mom's not that tall.
She was sitting at this point.
"This is sitting.
This
This
is
is standing."
She was sitting.
Anyway, and Mom looks at John, and she goes, "Oh no, honey, she has nothing." And I go, "Thank you," and I slam my cards
Are
on the
you
table.
serious?
And
Your
just sit
mother
there.
had been looking at your hand the whole time?
No, she came over to look at it.
She makes no bones about standing behind each and every one of us going, ooh.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly.
If you stand around long enough with Mom playing a card game, you will.
Now, the
you
whole
will
time
not
that
have
we've
the
been
bluff.
talking about euchre, do you realize that we have been assuming that our radio audience
Knows what it
we're
is
talking?
about euchre.
Yeah.
Think,
Probably not.
think poker, but way different.
It's not poker.
Think poker, but squint real hard at it. And,
Turn it
Squint.
upside down.
Squint, turn it sideways, and lean left.
All right. So we're going to talk a little bit more about games when we come back. It's time to take a break. Go out, get yourself something to drink. Like if you're like me, I need to resaturate myself with some water since I've saturated my shirt with water.
You went.
Yes, I did. And
Forgot
after
about
you do
that.
that, come on back and we'll hit our second segment of the B.Andrews Radio Show. You're listening to the HBC, the Hambone Broadcasting Corporation.
And now back to the B.Andrews Radio Show.
Welcome back to the second segment of the B.Andrews Radio Show, where we are talking about games, different kinds of games. We are playing board games, Monopoly, well, we didn't talk about life, but I know you guys have played the game of life, and we talked about card games, euchre, 7-Up, ones that come with their own card set. What's some of your favorite ones on that? Let's see.
Uno, Phase 10.
Uno, Phase
Pigs.
10.
It
Doesn't come with cards, but it's a game.
You're literally tossing pigs. They're like dice.
tiny
No, wait a minute.
pigs.
For the listening audience, say the size of the pigs.
They're smaller than an actual dice set.
What are
Okay,
they? What are
there
they?
you go. They're little
They're
miniature.
Not even, they're like a quarter of an inch long.
They're figurines.
They're really tiny.
Use
They're
the
little
word.
rubber figurines.
There you go.
With
I mean,
pig
because
dots
you
on
realize
them.
what people think.
They actually
Yeah,
have nipples.
there you go. We go. There you go. We go out and we find us a pig. We go tossing pigs.
Well, first you gotta paint a dot on one side. That way, when you toss the pig, you know, an oinker is when your pigs touch. that's not allowed. You lose all your points.
Oh, so that's a little oinker, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
You also get completely thrown out of the game, and it says this in the rules that is totally uncalled for and like just non-existent, shouldn't happen if your pigs perfectly at least land on top of each other.
Yeah. If they land,
You were
on
literally
top
thrown
of
out
each
of the
other,
game.
Like one pig is not on the table at all, and it is completely on top of another one. It's called piggyback, and you're thrown out of the game.
Literally, you're not just
Yeah.
like thrown out with no points. You're
Sometimes,
just-
if you choke the pigs, and I've accidentally done
You
a piggyback.
choked a pig
You know when they say you choke the dice, which means like you leave very little room for the dice to like
to roll around in your
in your
hand.
hands.
Mhm,
Right.
okay.
If you do that with the pigs and you go to toss them, it is possible for one to stick on the other one's back. I have accidentally rolled a piggyback.
And you got thrown out of the game.
Well, we were
Right.
playing currently. I was trying to see if it was possible.
Aha. Okay, and you found out. And of course, we like athletic games. We're very competitive. Okay, I like athletic games.
Foursquare.
Very competitive. Okay, Foursquare. The ball
I
over
love
the
Foursquare. We
ball
need to go
over
back.
the net.
What?
Nukem.
Well, yeah, I like Nukem.
Okay,
But we
Nukem.
need to go back and reteach the kids how to play
We
Foursquare.
got volleyball.
tennis, badminton. Don't forget
Why
that
are you
weird
being
one.
so exotic?
Exotic?
What's that weird
Define
one that
exotic. What was she being
Racquetball.
exotic
Racquetball.
about?
That's what I meant.
Out of my ordinary.
Out of your
I
ordinary?
love ping pong.
Yes.
I love those
Paintball.
games.
And I will say that Kay and I have we got to get back to that though. I
Yes,
do
I
miss that,
love
but
it so
we
much.
we had gone and we were working on a little bit of racquetball. That was something. I am a basketball official. That's one of my favorite games in order to do. And
I like
and
baseball.
for athleticness, I still officiate, so I can run up and down the floor officially. I'm a part of the game. You like
Baseball.
baseball? All right. Paying any attention to the Reds or the Brewers?
Apparently, the Reds have recently won a game.
They recently won a game?
Yeah, Amberly remarked that. Remember Saturday while we were out?
Oh,
She's like,
oh,
"Oh,
yeah.
look, the Reds actually won a game."
Yeah, they're
Against a
not
kind of decent team.
they're not doing too good this season.
They won against the Brewers once.
The Brewers,
What?
actually, they swept the Brewers the very first series beginning the season. They swept the Brewers. Reds were 3-0. Brewers were 0-3. Now we don't even want to talk about it. The roles have totally reversed. Brewers are number 2, and the Cubs are number 1. And
Why
by
do
the
they
way,
always start off so good?
because they're the Reds, is what they do. Okay.
Oh,
So
apparently.
anyway, we wanted to move right along. One of the things that we love to do is to go camping, and when you go camping, you enjoy taking some games with you when you go camping.
You know, I brought
Nice.
categories and we never played it. We really need to play it with Ham and Kim.
Okay, what are we doing later on tonight?
Well, I'm not. Shut up. I'm not doing much.
You're not doing much tomorrow either.
Sleep, Emily. That's
no,
what you're
but we're
going
not allowed
get.
to. Shut up. We're not allowed. We're not allowed to play board games while we're doing elections. I'm allowed to bring my knitting and stuff.
Okay, but you're
But,
not allowed to
like-
play board games.
Right.
Okay, so I looked it up, and I was looking for games to take while you go camping, whether they be athletic
Boggles
or
on the list, isn't it?
well,
If someone says Gaga ball, I'm gonna laugh my butt off because how are you supposed to transport
know.
an entire
There's
Gaga
a-
pit?
there's a real athletic game is Gaga
Right,
ball.
I forgot
Okay,
about
it's
Gaga
like
ball.
it's like dodgeball mixed with handball, but basically it's all played below the waist. Dodgeball below the waist, pretty
right,
much.
because you're in this little pit that's only waist high,
and it's
you
pretty
gotta
much
keep,
handball rules. So you smack it like a handball, not a dodgeball.
and you got to keep the ball in the pit. So that's
Right.
that's an athletic game. All right,
Oh,
so
yeah.
here we go. I'm going to rattle these off really fast. If you're going camping, here's some games maybe you might want to take with you as a family. Telestrations. Ever heard of it?
no.
What?
Okay, Telestrations. It is a drawing pad, and basically you have to draw, sketch, do that kind of
Oh,
things.
this is great for
Pictionary.
non-artistic families.
Which
Pictionary.
is total. Yes, it's basically it's like Pictionary, and you got to guess what's going on with the other one. Now, here's one. I've actually made this one the giant size
Jenga.
Oh,
Jenga.
Jenga.
Yes,
Jenga?
Yes. The
Did I say
giant.
Jenga or Jenga?
You said Jenga.
It's
It's
Jenga,
both.
the giant size Jenga set. I have actually made one of those.
Oh, it's so
Your 2x4s are a little
fun.
loose.
Thank you.
they're supposed
that
to
was
be.
a really nice compliment. Anyway, so there's
I prefer
one
to be
that you
more
could
tightly
take.
packed
Can you
together.
imagine hearing that fall while you're in the woods?
Everybody in the woods is gonna be like timber.
Yeah, I know. What was that noise? Okay. Now
Yogi's coming for
here's
you.
the thing I don't get: backpack cribbage.
What?
Cribbage.
Yeah.
I don't even know what cribbage actually is.
Backpack cribbage. Okay.
Is that the little peg thingies?
It's a little pegboard race
Is that
game.
what? Oh,
That
that's what they're
pegboard race?
called?
Yeah.
They mean the one that we never knew what to do with in Cracker Barrel?
Correct.
No, that's the
the
other
one.
one.
That's the one. Okay.
They're always at the tables, and we just always play tic-tac-toe with them.
No, that's the other one. That's the little triangle one. This
So you
one's
have-
a race.
So you
know.
you have this game. I have no idea what it is. I'm going to have to read up on it, but it's called Cards Against Humanity.
I love Cards Against Humanity.
Okay,
It could
you
be
gotta be
you gotta be
careful
really
about
careful
it.
because if you pick up Cards Against Humanity, you have to find a clean version
Yeah.
because
It
it
is
can be
super fun.
super.
Oh, well, that's the very
super-
first thing it says right out of the chute. When the kids are away, the adults will play.
Yeah, it is
This
super
game
dirty.
is as despicable and awkward as you and your friends. It's offensive humor is not your thing, this game will upset you. But if you dig dirty jokes and awkwardness, Cards Against Humanity will make you cringe at least once.
That's pretty accurate.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. It is very dirty. I got an online version of it because I can delete a lot of the cards and retype in it. So I went through it like a Mad Libs game and rewrote most of the stuff so that you still had like that awkward funniness.
Wow. Okay. To our listening audience, do not play Cards Against Humanity. I totally do not recommend that. I am so sorry I mentioned that. I should have read that before I read that across the air. Okay? All right. So, since you're going camping and you're outdoors, there's a few outdoor games to play. Cornhole.
We did that so much at camp. I hated that game.
I never did it at camp.
Okay.
I just don't like it.
Okay. So if you don't have that one, then there's, believe it or not, they recommend there's a electronic game, kind of like Bop It.
Yeah.
Okay. So instead of Bop It, it's called Catchphrase.
Okay.
And they have a digital one of that. Yes. Grab it, guess it.
Is Bocce Ball on there at all?
Grab it, guess it, pass it, but don't let the buzzer go off in your hand. The objective is
hot
simple.
potato.
Describe a word or phrase to your teammates who must guess what you are fumbling to explain before the timer goes off. Okay?
Oh, cool.
So you have that kind of game. Outdoors, there's the outdoor croquet golf.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, who would take a croquet
played-
set with them?
Uncle Bobby.
He would.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
would.
Totally got you on that one. You're right. Okay. And guess
Uncle
what?
Scotty.
Old Faithful.
Oh, the
is that a bicycle cards?
Playing
Woo-hoo.
cards.
You could just play whatever with
You
a
can play
deck
whatever.
of
I know
playing
that.
cards.
You could play a different game every night.
Because you could assign
Yeah.
even different things to the cards to play other things if you bring enough decks.
Absolutely. Okay. So, and then I've seen this set around, the washer toss. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
So-
the couple from our church brought it.
It's like
in.
cornhole.
Yeah,
Except it's got
like
more holes.
cornhole,
With washers.
but it's much smaller. Okay,
Yeah.
and you got to be more accurate. So I don't get what this is, except that it's a frisbee. So basically,
Play
it's
ultimate frisbee when
but
we go to
it's
camp.
called Moon Tower Disc.
What?
Okay,
What?
toss this disc well into the wee hours of the morning. Thanks to its single LED and 9 fiber optic strands that illuminate the disc in the dark. That's a good way to get smacked with a disc.
Right?
Oh, it's so pretty.
You know,
Yeah,
we can
exactly.
we can see the disc. We can't see where the people are.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
So
It's just like
basically,
this floating blue orb, and you're sitting there going,
The
"What
light.
is that?" What?
No, yeah, it's like the
It
light.
looks like
it's
a
so
little
beautiful.
alien-
No, it's not beautiful now.
I can't see it
Beautiful
at all.
pain.
Yeah.
It looks like a little.
So
it would,
I'm not exactly sure what they were thinking.
when you throw it, it would look like a little alien hover thing, like
Yeah.
those disc things. That's what it looks
It's definitely
It's a
a UFO.
It's
Yes,
a UFO
It is
coming at
literally a UFO
Okay.
because it's unidentified.
you. Of course, this one.
Apples
We
to
own it.
Apples to apples, own
which
that
is a
game.
really good one.
Okay. And yes, they recommend
Bocce ball.
Yeah.
Bocce ball is actually Scottish. You remember that?
No.
No.
They called it something else, but the game was almost exactly the same. It was like yard golf or something like that. And basically, it's like if anybody knows the rules of like shuffleboard and like golf, what it is you have like the one ball out in the middle of the yard is the odd colored ball, and then everybody gets like a couple of these larger balls.
Okay, either way, we're throwing a bunch of balls around trying to get closer to the odd ball.
Is that why everybody's around me? Anyway, and last but not least, if you're going camping and you've got that night light glowing right there and you're looking for something to do late into the evening while the moths are buzzing around it and so
It's
forth.
like the mosquitoes.
Tractor beam.
They suggest the traveling game set, which includes magnetic chess. There you go.
Why chess?
Think about it. You travel for hours. Go to the outdoors to play chess. Yeah, I'm sorry. Don't. It just does not resonate
I do
with
not
me.
see intellectuals as like. I mean, I guess they could if that's your shtick. If it's your game, go for it. But I do not see intellectuals as like bikers and hikers and people.
We're just staring at the board.
I'm not saying that they can't be. I'm just saying it's like people who do that
this,
avidly and is like their favorite thing.
No, this is what you do
like
after you spent all day at the lake and you are toasted raw because you are sunburned.
When I'm
and
tired,
you are,
I don't want to think either.
Hold on. And you are, not only you're toasted raw because you're sunburned, but you are also totally worn out from the water and you just stare at the board. And then one of the two of you that are playing the game look at each other and go, I'm going to bed. And that's how the night ends. Okay, totally, it's over. Well, that's some suggestions. When we come back, we're going to talk about some games that we have played at camps.
Oh
yeah. So this is going to get vicious. So get yourself something to drink, maybe a refill on that coffee.
Get
by
some
the
popcorn.
way, cups up.
You
sit back, sip that,
and we'll talk about it when we come back.
I didn't know I had any of the symptoms. To the best of my knowledge, I had never had a problem before. All I did was enter the coffee shop and the lady behind the counter said, "Morning, hun." And I looked at the glass case and saw my reflection. There it was, on my face. Smiley fascia.
Smiley fascia, or smiley face, is a condition caused by feelings of uncontrollable joy, peace, or tranquility. From the labs of Pharmaceuticals Unlimited comes depressia. Depressia is for those who are experiencing symptoms of smiley fascia or smiley face. Other symptoms may include singing, whistling, or in rare cases, skipping. Not all smiling is related to smiley fascia. Seeing others knocked down or in pain might also lead to smiling. Ask your doctor about the difference. Depressia is the first truly green drug, as we have used recycled cyanide, mercury, DDT, and a dash of sodium chloride. Using Depressia can help you lessen your carbon footprint on the planet.
Once I started taking Depressia, I felt so bad, I didn't have anything to smile about.
85% of those taking Depressia in our lab trials experienced lung failure, kidney failure, liver failure, death, and death-like symptoms. While taking Depressia, do not come into contact with sunlight or be around uplifting people, or this may hamper the depressing effects of the drug. If you continue to have uncontrollable feelings of joy, peace, and tranquility while taking Depressia, contact your doctor right away, as this might be a sign of deeper psychosis.
Depressia took the smile right off my face.
If you're struggling with smiley fascia, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's an oncoming train.
Depressia is not recommended by anyone and is not in stores. Depressia is solely a medical product of Pharmaceuticals Unlimited and is presented by the AVLIB Council. Ask your doctor about Depressia.
Welcome to the third segment of the B.Andrews Radio Show, where we are expressing our creativity through the games that we play.
Actually, she's doing interpretive dance.
It's my emotions, Emily.
What are you
they
wearing?
that big? Oh, my goodness. The king was angry.
Actually, she was more like, "Con!"
Yeah.
Stress couture.
What are you wearing? My emotions, darling. Stress couture.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So much for the quote. Anyway, and
That
so
was
we're
our quote.
Yes, it was. And so we're talking about games that we have played, games that we had a lot of fun with. And one of the things that each one of us have done, because I started it and then they had no choice, I dragged my kids through it by taking them to camps. And so one of the big part of camps is games. One of the big parts of our backyard Bible camp, or anytime we have our vacation Bible school or do anything with kids, is the games that we play.
I can tell you right now, my favorite camp games were always the water games.
Okay,
it was the water version of pretty much every
let me get
game.
this one other. Let me get this one other area in, and then you can take us down that road. And so not only
slippery, wet
vacation
path.
Bible school and not only camps, but then just youth group. We have come up with some really nice creative games that are a lot of fun.
Yeah, shave the balloon.
And so if you ever get a chance to come to our youth group, and it's really nice, a shout out to Michelle West. She's been doing a good job. She's helped take away that burden for me, and she has come up with some really good games for the youth. And so if you ever get a chance, come by and play some of our games with us. We have a blast. But camp games, and you said your favorite camp games were?
Water games.
Water games, such as?
I
There
hated the
was
water games.
Water kickball, water baseball, water bucket race, and water dodgeball.
You didn't pick out any of the games that I did on the wet tarp.
No,
The
like scrambled eggs.
Yes, the slip and slide scrambled eggs.
No, I didn't.
You didn't care for that?
No, I liked it. It's a lot more contact, and I wasn't old enough to do contact.
Oh,
sports.
gotcha. I do know this.
Like that back
then.
then?
The slip and slide scrambled eggs is the only time I ever seen a kid slide on his head for 12 feet while holding a ball.
Correction. Face.
Yeah,
Just his head.
It's on
True.
his face.
He was sliding on his face, but his feet were still up in the air. I wish. It was
like perfectly balanced momentum
on his face.
like that's what you got. He was Polish, wasn't he?
We'll leave it at that. Yes, and
balance right there.
It's just amazing. I've
Square
never
heads make for good balance.
Never seen anything like it before. I've never seen anything like it since, and I laughed for the next 20 minutes. It was
I'm
great.
surprised it wasn't Ben, actually.
It wasn't Ben.
No.
So
Ben always lands on his butt. You know,
That's
because
true.
the heaviest thing is what lands first.
That's true. Bottoms. Some people say bottoms up. Ben is
Bottoms down.
There
Ever
you go.
since birth.
Yes, since birth.
Since birth. So
Plug the hole.
So anyway, moving right along. I hope your brother doesn't hear that.
I hope he does. I hope he does.
I do too.
So anyway, but we went to a camp in Michigan that probably had some of the most
dangerous,
aggressive youth games I
didn't have to play them. Ha ha.
I have ever seen in my life. What was the one where the Rock
or Barbarian?
Start with both of them.
Mission Impossible was the best.
The
Rock.
Rock.
I actually enjoyed Mission Impossible.
I got to play that
one. Tell the audience about Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible, what they did was they set up a bunch of chairs in the yard and at
tables
down. Yeah, chairs and tables and picnic tables. And what they did was they would put them up sideways. And then the chairs were where the counselors would stand with water balloons. Then they got a giant spotlight up on top of this little miniature hill. So we have like this field and it's got a little hill up there. And the truck sat parked on the hill. And in the back of the truck was a spotlight. It would make, it would sweep the grounds. And so your job was to make it from the back end where your team was lined up and make it to the hill where the truck was at and tag your counselor. They would give you a plastic coin to say that you made it, without being found. Like, you could get pelted with water balloons and stuff, but as long as you weren't touched by the light, you won. And I think the funniest thing that ever happened, I wasn't able to see a lot. So, the only thing I know that happened, it happened to me.
Sure, because you couldn't see the rest.
I couldn't see the rest of the people doing it, and, people were all like, yeah, you either made it or you did it, and they were a bunch of pansies. They were all trying to, crawl around on their hands and knees. But I was, running and ducking so hard. I was, doing somersaults into my thing. I was like,
okay, in actual news, I got to do it with Emily, and me and Emily ran by.
We
both
made it. I made it, 3 times. Would you make it?
2 or 3 times.
2 times. Everybody else only either made it once or not at all.
No.
And I was like, you're just a bunch of pansies.
First of all, they were playing the Mission Impossible, and multiple times that me and Emily were doing it, we ran by and all of a sudden we were doing thud. I look over and I'm like, oh, hey, sup? And she's like, hi. We're all breathing
Seriously,
heavily.
That's what it sounds like when you run into your sister?
No, we were running. we ran behind 2 different.
The grass was still wet.
So you couldn't
from where
really
people
stop.
were being pelted with water balloons. And so you would you were sliding all over the place. I was barefoot. So I went to go run into my hiding spot. I tried to stop to go into a crouch. And I ended up sliding into third base. And literally, I was the searchlight went to go come over top of me, and I went to go slide behind a picnic table. Actually, I went to go crouch behind the picnic table, but I ended up sliding, hitting my butt, and you know how they look like when they slide into home base?
Oh yeah.
That's what it looked like, and I slid in just behind it, just in time for the light to go over top of me, and I was like,
I look over at Emily.
Holding really
and
still.
all of a sudden, everybody could hear the theme go off. Wonder Woman.
No, actually, the guy was like, "I'm not even gonna pelt you with a water balloon." That was cool. I was like, "Thanks."
I look over, I say hi, and then I run off, and Emily's just like, "Oh, I don't want to do that again."
No, my back hurt.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So I was camp director, actually athletic director at a camp, and one of my jobs was to come up with games. And so I came up with a game. I like inventing games. I like thinking of games, inventing them.
Ooh, is that where they got the point where they were supposed to dunk their head in a bucket of water and then root around for gummy worms in a pan full of flour?
I actually got that from somebody else, but
We have
yes,
to do
you
with our
put
feet with
you
Swedish
put gummy
fish.
you put
Yeah, picking Swedish fish out of a bowl full of, out of a kiddie pool full of
Shaving
cream and water.
yeah no but you're talking about the time that you dunk your head in a bucket of water and there's gummy worms mixed in with flour in a little kiddie pool, but you keep that dry. But the idea is you got to get your face in there all wet, and you got to blow the flour away, and you have to eat 5 gummy worms. You have to verify it. You come up with one, show your spotter, and then you eat the gummy worm, and you got to root around.
They didn't think about blowing it. They just went
they just
first.
went face in first. Yeah, and the one girl came up, and she had the most perfect beard that came all the way down. And I mean, she looked like, what's those guys on Duck Dynasty named Cy.
Uncle
She
Cy.
looked like Uncle Cy. I mean, it came halfway down the front of her, and I was just like, that's impressive. I can't grow one like that. Anyway, so no, but I'm dealing with, this is kids camp that I'm talking about. And I invented this game. What it was a cross between dodgeball and kickball. And so you have your kicker, you roll it in, and if he kicks it and gets on, because I had just this odd number of kids, and so they were on teams, and so you really couldn't field a team, you really couldn't do kickball, and you're out in the middle of a field, so you really can't do dodgeball, because they would throw the ball way far away. So what I would do is so they would kick the ball, and you have your bases, but I also was missing one cone, and so I had to get really inventive. So I only had a first and a third base. I didn't have a second base. So what I did is when you kicked the ball, you ran to first, or you could run to third. You could choose whichever one. So if you kicked it to the right, run to the base to the left. If you kicked it to the left, you run to the base to the right. But the way that you scored is you had to come all the way. When somebody kicked the ball, you had to run, and you can get as many people on base as you want. But in order to kick, you had to run from one base one side all the way over the other. Now, the fun part is you would get 5 kids over on the first base side, 5 kids over on the second base side, or on third base side. Somebody would kick the ball. In order to score, they have to come around, pass home plate, and go to the opposite. So you've got this massive group of kids that are running into each other at home base.
You are a mean man.
It was entertaining.
You are
it was
you
very
are
so
a
funny.
cruel man.
Oh, that sounds so funny.
It was. And you'd see the kids going, whoa, and they'd come running, and then they'd see the other group of gazelles running at them from the other direction, and it'd be like a car accident waiting to happen.
Screaming goats everywhere.
Screaming goats everywhere.
And they're all trying to get around each other and run back to the base where they can, and that's how you scored. And every time you touch from one base to the other, you got 1 point. So, and you get as many people on each of the bases as you possibly could, but you still only got 3 outs and all the rest of that stuff. But what the dodgeball part is you took the ball and you had to hit somebody with it in order to get them out while they were off base. So you just ended up throwing the ball at the crowd. You'd end up hitting somebody. That was the idea, is so make it easier, because I noticed that the kids had a problem with the skill of catching the ball and tagging somebody out or whatever. So we turned it into dodgeball. Just hit them with it. And I noticed that if it was just one person, you could miss. If it's 2 or 3, you still might miss. All of a sudden, you get 5, 6 people in a group that's running. You just throw the ball in the middle of it. You might even get a twofer. Boom, boom. So
I've actually seen one girl, because we've done the throw rule at camp. I've seen one girl chuck it at a group of like 3 kids and nail all 3. It got the boom boom too, but then it like glanced off the one kid's shoulders and hit the other guy in the face. So it like hit the one guy on his back, clipped the second guy's shoulder, and then hit the third one in the face.
So I gotta talk about games that while we're at camp, games that fail, but the producer is giving me these wild things. So we'll have to pick that up in the 4th section.
Wow,
It's called
thanks.
interpretive dance. Dad, we went over this.
Yeah,
like, hey.
Yeah, for real. So I got the sign, and that's where we're going to.
It opened up his eyes.
And that's where we're going to break. And so come on back, and we'll talk more about our games.
If you'd like to hear more of the B.Andrews Radio Show, visit us at our YouTube channel at B.Andrews Band. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to hear more from us, and to stay updated, hit the bell. Remember, at YouTube at B.Andrews Band.
Hey, Emily, want to see me pull an armadillo out of my shoe?
Not this trick again.
Nothing up my pant leg. Whoosh! Presto! Un gran gato negro en mis pantalones.
Welcome back to the B.Andrews Radio Show.
Welcome back to the fourth and final segment of the B.Andrews Radio Show, where we are talking about some of our favorite games. We went through the board games, the card games, games to take camping, and games to play at camp.
You ever try to turn a tarp over while you're standing on it?
Why would
No,
you?
common
Because
sense.
it was the game.
Common sense says I'm
5
standing on it,
actually,
get
it was more
off
like
of it,
8.
and turn it over.
8 people were standing on the tarp without touching the ground. We had to turn the tarp over.
Okay,
My grabby
that sounds
toes.
more like problem solving than a game. I told you I'm not smart about
My
problem
grabby
solving.
toes saved the day.
Is that the way it works?
Anybody else play the human knot?
Yes.
Yes,
we've
I
done
like
the
that
human
game.
knot.
We need to do it again. I love the human knot.
One game that we played at a youth camp that I thought was really fun was
Sardines.
Custer's Flush.
No, that one.
You know, you take
Oh, it was Custard's last flush. You gotta get
Custer's
that one
Last
in there.
Flush. That's correct.
That
That's
sounds
where
really
you take,
bad.
Yeah.
You take 4
You sleeping with the fishes.
4 50-gallon drums, and 2 go at one end, 2 go at the other end of the field, and inside the drums you have you take about 20 to 30 rolls of toilet paper. You fill them up with water, and you take about 20 or 30 rolls of toilet paper, and you fill each one of the drums up. And then there's 6 drums, and in the dead center is 2 drums, and each one of them get about 30, 40 rolls of toilet paper, fill them up with water. And then after you do that, so all the campers are the Indians, and all the counselors are the Army, and there's a circle.
Obviously, that's the way the game's supposed to work because it's Custer's.
It's
last
right,
flush.
and it's kind of after we've done so much counselors versus kids. This is kind of the way of kids being able to take their frustration out on the counselors at the end of camp without anybody getting hurt, and it's all in good fun.
I don't know.
Kind of
If
stuff.
it's throwing
actually,
the toilet
there's only-
paper, it would hurt if it's in the face.
They're not allowed to make wads. You have to scoop the toilet paper and fling it. You're not allowed to pick it up and make a wad because
The water in the face would still hurt.
it could. I was cleaning toilet paper off of my glasses the next day. it was kind of
That's
funny.
because you're too tired to do it that night.
So-
That's just how camp is.
No, I wiped my glasses like 5 or 6 times, and the next day, I had one of those that had the double bar across the front, and I was taking them off like this. I'm like, is that? Look at. There's a piece of toilet paper in there, and I'm still pulling it out of my
It's
glasses.
like someone gave you a really bad
So
swirly.
anyway, all the counselors have to stay inside the 2 circles around the 50-gallon drums that are at each end of the oval, and the campers get to run around all the rest of it, and the campers get the 2 ones that are in the middle, and they get to throw and fling shots at all the campers. Now, twice during the time, and the game lasts exactly half an hour, you holler, charge, and the counselors are allowed to come out. But when the counselors come out, that means the Indians also get to come in. And so, and it just turned, and for 1 minute, the guy holds a timer, for 1 minute, it is a free-for-all everywhere.
Oh,
Okay?
that sounds
and then
painful.
when they holler, and then at 1 minute they holler retreat, and then all the counselors have to get back inside the circle, and we're just, we're ducks in a bottle at that point. Ducks in a
bottle? It's fish
Fish
in a barrel.
Where did you
Ducks in a bottle.
Where did
Anyway,
you get ducks from?
Hey, that's
Ducks
right.
in a bottle.
Now, real quick, before
Okay,
we
I
get
get
too
the
far,
ducks in a row, but where'd the bottle come from?
can see the ducks. Okay, I can see them. So it's got to be glass in there somewhere. No, and so some of the things. I mean, I've done games with the youth where we've done egg drop. Egg drop is where kids on the ground puts the foam cup in his mouth and have to crack an egg and up on a chair and drop it in.
Never done that one. I've done the feeding of the applesauce.
Yeah, we had a girl. It hit and it didn't slide in the cup. It slid down the outside of the cup, and she couldn't see. And she's holding the cup in her mouth, and she goes, "What did I just swallow?" And everybody just nothing. Almost kind of funny.
betrayal.
Hey, Rocky.
Yeah, for real. I sat there. You know how many kids just got grossed out when that happened too? And she had no idea what she swallowed. It was just...
I think she would have more of the right to freak out.
Well, but something hit your mouth and your mouth full and just... what was that? Because she couldn't see it because the cup was in her face. So anyway, but the worst game fail I have ever done is I was with a bunch of kids, and it was eat the donut off the string without using your hands.
That wasn't a fail. I won.
It wasn't. It was a total fail. I was expecting, these kids are really good. That's what got me. I was expecting this to
eating stuff.
I was expecting this game to be very entertaining for me. I was expecting to see little 4 and 5-year-olds chasing donuts on a string all over the place. Are you kidding me? These vultures had them eaten in less than 30 seconds. I took these donuts, put them on a string, hung them on a pipe. It's right about height. Some of them were a little low, so the kids had to duck. Some were a little high. They're standing on their tiptoes. And I said, go. And I looked down there, and every one of the strings are empty. They're piranhas. They're donut piranhas. I was like...
What 5-year-old isn't a donut piranha?
I was expecting some entertainment here, watching little kids chasing a donut on a string. No, it was... Okay, what's next? I'm like,
can I have the extra?
Can I have the rest?
We're not doing that again.
Exactly. Those are
without
really
the string.
I don't think they cared about the string. They'll wait for you to put it on the string as long as they can have another donut.
Actually, some of them was chewing on the string. I took one little kid and I'm like, here, son, here, take that out of your mouth. You don't eat the string.
Next thing you know, you pull out a string that's like 3 feet long.
It's
like, what?
Whoa!
Remember when we did that, though, the first time you did it?
Or a tooth on the end of it.
You're like, sorry.
Wait.
Do you remember when we did that, though?
What? On what?
When we did the eating the donuts off the string, and I went to go finish my donut, but I slid out of the loophole, and I went to go land on the ground, and I slid and landed on my butt, so it landed on my legs instead.
Yeah, because you wanted the donut.
I know, so I doubled in half.
They were really
the donut
good.
Off my knees.
They were really good. All right.
I was so young that I could not get my mouth around the donut, so I failed.
Yeah, now she can fit it all in her mouth in one bite.
In one bite. There you go. All right. And nobody said she had a big mouth. That leads us to our good news story of the day.
Well, you know, it's time for a little good news. And let the sun shine through for me and you with some good news.
Today's good news segment comes from Good News Network. Let me sit up here. The Watch Police...
Was that the electric chair, or was that you?
It was me.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This couple's wedding day quickly became a story to tell the kids. The bride and groom were traveling through Bogota, New Jersey this week when a sudden surge of floodwaters left them stranded in their car. Thankfully, the Bogota Police Department was there to help. Officer Michael LaFerrera drove a police Hummer up to the side of the couple's car with the flooding reaching as high as the headlights. He climbed onto the roof of the car and helped the bride through the sunroof. The bride took off her shoes and handed them to the officer before taking his hand and daintily climbing onto the Hummer, all while she was still in her wedding dress.
Ooh.
Apart from the light drizzling, the bride's shoes and dress remained almost entirely dry through the ordeal. They're in pretty decent spirits considering everything that happened, Bogota Police Sergeant Jeffrey Cole told us. LaFerrera simply said that it was definitely a first for his career.
Wow. Now, I do have to ask you something. You're going to have to look up how to say that town name, because is it Bogota or is it Bogota?
I'm not sure how they would pronounce it, because it can be... it's like the stuff around here. I'm sure it's probably pronounced that way, but it looks like Bogota.
Well, sure, but that's how
B-O-G-O-T-A.
That's how you spell Bogota.
Bogota, okay.
South was that Bogota's in Colombia or South?
It's in New Jersey. This is a place in New Jersey.
I'm talking about the famous Bogota, the big city Bogota.
Well...
Anyway, that's so I don't know. You know, that's like...
I wasn't done.
Oh, sorry.
The department posted footage of the rescue to Facebook, where it's since been viewed over 1,000 times. If you are from the area, you know that it is flood prone, said the department. Within an hour yesterday, Bogota
No, you could be very right. I'm just serious.
got over an inch of rain. This was not the normal flood. This came to over 4 feet high from upstream in less than 15 minutes.
Woo.
Unfortunately, due to the quickly rising floodwaters, this bride, her new husband, and wedding party friends got a rough start on things. The fortunate thing is we were able to help them through their first rough patch. Obviously, their day has not gone as planned, so let's congratulate them on their wedding and give them the best wishes for a lifetime of love and adventure starting now. And that's what the police department said.
That's cool. That's cool. You know, there's a lot of good things happening in police departments out there. I was down in the northern Kentucky area, and one of the local police departments down there was having fill a cop car for school, for back-to-school supplies for kids, and they were out in front of Dollar General store, and they had taken one of their cop cars, put it in front of the store, was asking people to come by, buy $1 or $2 object, and just put it in the cop car. They wanted to try to fill it up and take it to the local school for the different kids that may be a little short on something of one of the school supplies or something like that. And so the local police department, and the thing of it is the guys that do that, that's their volunteer time. That's off time. They're not on duty doing that. They're not getting paid for it. And but obviously these guys rescuing it are more concerned about the bride and groom getting off on a good start.
It wasn't just them. How much you want to bet they were on their way
to the reception?
Through the reception,
Yeah.
and the flood started. And they noticed that, hey, somebody needs help, and oh my goodness, she's in there in her wedding gown.
Yeah.
We don't want to ruin the
her
wedding
gown.
dress.
And so they went out of the way. Why do you do the hand fanning
Because
thing?
that's what they do.
You really
I
do want world peace. I'm telling you. Okay. And so yeah, no, I think that is so super cool. And here you got police officers. I mean, they're doing their thing. They're thinking about the public first than they are
being public servants.
They really are. And we really need to appreciate that more than what we do. And so, hey, the good news for the week out there, you see the guys that are serving as our public servants, men and women in uniform as far as our police department, EMS, rescue. You know what? Give them a good word. Pat them on the back and say, thank you, guys. Thank you. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us today here on the B.Andrews Radio Show. Look, get out there, do something good for your public and your society, and make the world a better place.
And remember, keep your ducks in a bottle.
Well, there's a man on the street and he's walking his beat, and I listen to him every day.